Yes, it starts. And same is the process to stop the recording when you end up. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. Best wishes.
Thank you. Uh, so, dear all, I'm your academic counselor for your subject BSW 121 Introduction to Professional Social Work. I'm going to share with you some PPT presentation, PPT slides, in which we have all the details, not exactly details, we have some important points going through which you can understand the meaning and concept of social work, right? Just wait a moment. You all are able to see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, it is visible now.
Yes. So we are going to study professional social work and its values. According to you all, what is social work? Let me introduce first. Social work is a practice based profession that promotes social changes, development, cohesion, and empowerment of people and communities. What does it mean? Basically, social work is, you can say, we are doing something for others without any expectation. That is social work in our ancient era. According to our religion, our way of practicing our principles, values, we can understand what is the meaning of social work. Social work basically is a profession or is a work or is a practice by which we can change the rituals. We can go for development, we can go for empowerment of people and communities. बेसिकली सोशल वर्क जो है in ancient era or initial days, it has been divided into three parts: charity, voluntary action, and shramdan. Charity. What is charity? Charity is basically helpfulness and generosity, especially towards the needy or suffering people. You can say, like, in old era, generally we help people by giving food, clothes, sometimes provide them shelter also. Basically, it is an aid or help given to those who are in need, or who are suffering from any sort of disease, or any sort of disability. That is charity. You can take the example of healthcare charity agencies like Sai Baba Trust for people suffering from cancer. There are so many healthcare charity agencies. They help people who are suffering from cancers, different kind of diseases. You can take the example of this Mother Teresa Institute of लेप्रेसी के लिए जो काम करते हैं उनका भी. ठीक है. Second point is voluntary action. Voluntary action is a person's own will or own desire to provide help to others in distress. It is out of their natural feeling of devotion, dedication to serve the entire mankind, or at least a member of their own society, their own community, their extended family. You can say, suppose you have in your extended family, you have some people, they are not able to pursue their higher education because of financial constraint or because of poor financial condition. Then generally relatives and neighbors, they offer like we are ready to pay your fee, you just continue your education. That is voluntary action, right? This is your own will, this is individual's will, this is not it is not forceful by anyone else. Getting my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Next point is shramdan. Shramdan is what, like in our earlier days you have heard uh, uh, village road made by villagers, or anything, any good cause done by a group of people. Shramdan basically, taken together, they mean the act of doing labor without expecting anything to promote collective good through some kind of manual work, like plantation, uh, uh, Green India, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, passes through dense forests. Like there is a jungle, there is a huge mountain, there is no way to go to other side, and people get together, people get gathered, and they make a road, a narrow road or narrow passes to travel one point to another point. This is all shramdan. आपने सुना होगा like there is a lack of water, then people are making pond in village. What they do, they generally get together and started digging the pond before rainy season, right? That is shramdan. In shramdan, they just do not expect any sort of return from their for their work. Making and helping broken bridges during the time of flood, during the time of heavy rain, all these things are known as shramdan. In voluntary manual labor, you just do not expect anything in return in terms of any cash or kind also. Like this is just you are doing your work in a group, it's all a collective work. Get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Our next point is social movement. See, question can be asked in these 3 points: charity, voluntary action, and shramdan. Question can be asked in any form, like in short notes, in 10 marks question, and in 20 marks question also. Then you have to, what you have to do, you have to just understand the basic meaning of these terminologies, and always remember and always write an answer with an example. Suppose if you are writing the answer for charity, suppose a question is asked like what is charity in short note, then give a small text and then example of charity. Same the case with voluntary action, and same the case with shramdan. If it is a question of 20 marks, right, then you have to explain each and everything, what you understand by the meaning, the definition, the uh, important points, and at minimum, at least if it's a long question, then definitely minimum two to three examples of charity, voluntary action, or shramdan. Next point is social movement. What is social movement? Social movement is an organized effort by a large group of people to achieve a particular goal. Okay? A social movement is an organized attempt by a number of people united by a shared belief to afford or resist change in the existing social order by non-institutionalized means. You can say like it is a group of people and headed by a person or headed by an agency or headed by a organization. They have decided they have decided to go for some kind of change. That is social movement. Have you heard about Swadeshi movement, Swadeshi Abhiyan, Satyagraha, Chipko Andolan? What was Chipko Andolan? Anybody can answer? What is Chipko Andolan? Chipko movement.
It was to save trees. So people gathered around and they, covered all the trees so that nobody can harm tree and cut it.
Correct. This is a social movement. What is Swadeshi Abhiyan? Swadeshi Apnao. Like you should use commodities and goods made in our own country. That is Swadeshi Abhiyan. What is Satyagraha? Narmada Bachao Andolan. All these are the examples of social movement. Social movement cannot be done by a single person or an individual. It would be, or it is done by a group of people, and it is an organized effort. They have already set goals. They have already their way, they have already the way of working, clear way of working, that how they have to go, what kind of movement, what kind of principle they are going to follow. All these comes under social movement. Everything is planned. Everything is planned in social movement. They can go according to their set rules and regulations. That is social movement, right? Next point is social reform. Social reform basically is the improvement or amendment of something that is wrong, corrupt, and unsatisfactory, among other things. Or you can say, we have been following so many rituals, so many wrong practices, which are not good for human and societies. You can take the example of Sati Pratha, removed by Raja Ram Mohan Rai. You can take the example of child marriage. uh, Almost 50, not exactly 50 to 60 years old. What can what should I say, in our, in 50s or 60s also, we have example of child marriages, in where, in that phase, they do not have the exact or legal, they do not follow the exact or legal age of marriage. Child marriage is a very wrong practice in our country. So social reform, by the help of social reform, our constitution, our legal people were able to set the rules and regulations against this kind of practice. They have set rules like what would be the age of a female, what would be the age of a male person for marriage. Uh, According to that, nobody can go for marriage before that age. What is Sati Pratha? Sati Pratha was like, if some married person is passed away, then the wife of that person has to uh, sit on pyre with him. This is not, simply not acceptable. So basically, social reform takes lots of time, because from so many years they have been following these kind of wrong practices. So it is not easy to change immediately, right? It takes time. Same the case with polygamy. Polygamy is what? Polygamy is marrying with more than one person. It is a wrong practice. Social reform basically the improvement of something, or improvement in some practices which are not at all good, which are totally wrong and corrupt. Did you get that? Next point is
Yes,
social
yes.
network. What is social network? Social network is an articulated pattern of connection in the social relation of individuals, groups, and other collectivities. Like-minded people, like-minded voluntary organization, like-minded NGOs working in a particular field in specified areas, which may be as limited as a town, city, or net, or you can say in country also. Here you can take the example of blood bank of different hospitals, like in any city or metro city, we have so many hospitals. Every hospital has its own individual or its own blood bank. Like suppose sometimes we do not have uh, in particular blood bank, like we need A plus A positive blood for some patient, and that particular hospital does not have that blood group available with them. Then what did they do? They contact another blood bank of the same city nearby. So network is what? Basically, network is people who are working for the same purpose, for people who are working for the same group. Basically, social network जो point है, that is, it is originated from the word fabric. लाइक जैसे हम यान बुन करके एक कपड़ा बनाते हैं, वैसे ही सोशल नेटवर्क बनता है, वन पर्सन टू अनदर पर्सन. They have same mindset, they have same goals. Here you can take the example of NGOs who are working in educational sector. They provide educations to underprivileged child who does not have financial support. They are very poor, they are very needy, suffering from so many financial problems, and the parents of these kind of people, they do not have employment or regular income. So NGOs or voluntary organization which are working in the field of education sector, they provide education to the underprivileged children. By the help of them, we can see from the help of them, these kind of children or these kind of students, sometimes they uh, progress a lot. They develop their uh, uh, way of working. They develop the interest in education, and they started studying very rigorously. Next point is social service, social defense, social security, and social welfare. These are the points by the help of which we can understand the need and importance of social work. Social service is what? Social service are those organized activities that are primarily and directly connected with the conservation, the protection, and the improvement of human resources, and includes as social services, social assistance, social insurance, child welfare, corrections, mental hygiene, public health, education, labor protection, providing shelter, and other so many things. Social services are what? I think you have heard about Ren Basera in Delhi,
Yes, ma'am.
right? What do they do? Can anybody tell me this?
They give shelters to the beggars around them or anyone who doesn't have any home to stay.
Right, like they provide shelter in cold winter nights, right? When in winter days, what happens? Generally, people dies because of the cold. Beggars. In summer times, generally they take shelter in footpath or in market area or anywhere. But in cold time, in winter time, they just cannot use that because of wind, matlab, cold wind, right? So Ren Basera is the social service provided by Delhi government. They provide shelter to them. Okay? They provide shelter in cold night. They provide food to them also sometimes. Child welfare is what? Orphan age जो हैं, they have so many children who do not have parents alive, right? So they take them to the orphanage. This comes under child welfare. So now you can see there are so many people who nowadays they are suffering from mental health problem, mental health issue. What is that? At the time of COVID, we all were in the house. We were isolated. We were not able to socialize. Now mental trauma is there. N number of people are not ready to socialize again. So this is the thing where healthcare sector established by government or government or hospital, they provide mental health counseling sessions to them so that they are able to socialize again. Same the case with public health. Have you heard about primary health centers? Have you heard about this mohalla clinic? These things come under public health social services provided by government of Delhi. N number of charitable hospitals, charitable health institutions are there. They provide uh, so many aids, so many uh, financial help, so many uh, uh, healthcare facilities to the suffering people. Now we can discuss the features of social services, characteristics or features of social services. Social and public services are visualized and organized by society and state. These services directly benefited all the section of society. Like you can take the example of any government hospital. You are a beggar, or you or any person is a rickshaw puller, or any person who is working with a good organization. Anybody and everybody can go to the government hospital, though it takes time there because of the gathering, because of the rush. But these are directly benefited to all section of our society. Same you can take the example of government schools. Either child of a rickshaw puller or child of a CEO of any company, anybody can take admission in government schools. These services have a very wide scope, including everything that has a direct bearing on the quality of life of people. These services aim at promoting human and social development, protecting human rights of people, and creating a sense of duty among them towards society. Here you can take the examples of government schools, government colleges, or other institutions which provide equal right or equal opportunities without any gender bias thing. They provide education to all and each person who take admission over there. They have duty to provide services to them. Next point is social defense. What is social defense? Social defense is a planned, deliberate, and organized effort made by society to defend itself against the attack of disruptive forces which endanger its law and order and thereby impede its socio-economic development. Here, we can take the example of human rights. We can take the examples of welfare services in prisons, aftercare services for discharged prisoners. Have you heard about the education system in jail? Prison is what? Prison is jail. Anybody who commit crime or or anything which is against law, if he or she is sentenced by imprisonment, then there also he or she can pursue her education. They provide healthcare services to them. They provide other voluntary services to them, like they have like Delhi Tihar Jail. They have association with so many educational institutions which provide voluntary services to them. Uh, People who are in jail or prison, they can pursue their education and open schooling system or distance learning system. After service of discharged prisoners, it means some vocational training is provided to them, and according to their capabilities uh, they follow their what should I say, their hobby as an employment. Suppose there are two or more females in a prison, and uh, they are taking training in embroidery or sewing or stitching. After discharge from the prisons, they can pursue these things as their employment. These are social defense. These things are making the policy. What is social security now? Social security is freedom from danger of risk, is one of the accepted need of people. Like everybody want to be secure in any sort of from any sort of danger or any sort of risk, like for health, risk for health, risk for um, hungriness, or from hunger or anything, risk from financial problem. Protection provided by society against those contingency of modern life sickness, unemployment, old age, dependency, industrial accidents, and invalidism. validism, against which the individual cannot be expected to protect himself or his family by his own, is the duty of government to provide them social security. Because of social security, we have police. In rallies, in social gathering, or uh, any sort of problem, we can call police anytime. Industrial accident. Have you heard about Maruti accident of Manesar? Can anybody answer this?
No, ma'am, I have not heard of it.
Long back, the worker of Maruti plant in Manesar, they gathered and they attacked the admin office. Because of that, one person died over there. It was an industrial accident, or it was man-made, but it was an industrial accident, or any fire accident in any industry or manufacturing unit. What did they do generally? They call police, they call ambulance, they call people who can help them to rescue them, or they can, or people or the government agencies who can help them. uh, what should I say in this, suppose you are like there's a flood. Okay, everybody want to be get rid of it. Okay? But sometimes people, they do not know how to swim, and they are not able to get out of their home. Generally, social security system, so many agencies are working for them. Disaster, our national secure disaster agency jo hai, they work, people or army of that particular agency work for them to rescue, work from for them and rescue them from that particular area. This is our social security. We call army to help in that particular area. Last year in 2020, we faced Amphan in Odisha and West Bengal. We got high alert, red alert for that. All the security system started working for human beings. They started taking people from people who are staying nearby to sea area to a safe area. This is done by social agency. Now, what is social welfare? The term welfare means the state or condition with regard to good, fortune, health, happiness, and prosperity, the organized system of social services and institutions designed to aid individuals and groups to attain satisfying standard of life and health, and personal and social relationship which permit them to develop their full capacities and to promote their well-being in harmony with the need of their families and communities. Have you heard about Central Social Welfare Association?
No, ma'am.
State Social Welfare Board?
Yes, ma'am. Maybe this is an association, that guide state regarding what kind of policies or like what kind of aspect they should focus on when they are talking about social development in a state institution. I think so.
Right, right. Children welfare organization.
Yes, ma'am. I have heard of it. Children welfare organization. Basically, they are compiling all the children-related resources. What are the major issues that children are facing, and they are, putting that in front of government so that government can make related policies and schemes that can tackle those issues effectively, ma'am.
Correct. Any other example you can give?
No, ma'am. I'm not sure of any example, ma'am, as of now.
Anyone else? Just a moment, I'm facing some technical issue. इसको कैसे वो करेंगे show? Just a moment. I'm not able to see them. You people are able to see the this PPT or not?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Yes,
visually,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. Now, what is the structure of social welfare? Basically, it is done by formal organizations, as we have discussed about child welfare organization or social welfare association. They sponsors accountability. They take sponsorships and accountability. These are the basic part of social welfare structures. Absence of profit motive and dominant program purpose. It means they do not work for return thing. They do not work, they do not expect anything in return. Functional generalizations like integrative rather than segmental view of human needs. Suppose there is a orphanage. They take children who do not have parents, or they are found in streets. Social, sorry, child welfare organization, people working, people who are working there, they take these kind of children with the help of legal authorities and make them stay in orphanage. They provide them their basic needs, shelter, food, clothes. Basically, they direct focus on human consumption needs. बेसिक नीड्स क्या होंगी हमारी? फूड होगा, शेल्टर होगा, क्लॉथ होगा. तो जो सोशल वेलफेयर का बिल्कुल बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर हो जो होता है, दे टेक द अकाउंटेबिलिटी, स्पॉन्सरशिप एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी फॉर these basic needs of society or human beings. What is the goal of social welfare? To fulfill the social, financial, health, and recreational requirement of all individuals in the society. Social welfare seeks to enhance the social functioning of all age group, both rich and poor. Here you can take the example of State Social Welfare Board, Central Social Welfare Board, or Bal Vikas Bhavan, or you can take the example of educational system, central schools. All kind of people take admission over there. They are rich or poor. National open schooling system, they can take uh, people who stop their education due to any sort of reason. They can continue their education from there. Important characteristics of social welfare. It is deliberatory, organized system of services and institutions. These services and institutions specifically cater to the varied kind of needs of weaker and vulnerable section of society. Weaker society, what do you understand by weaker people? People
Below
who are
poverty line,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
what?
Below
Less privileged people.
Correct. Anyone else?
ma'am, like people who don't have access to basic resources, like as you told, food, shelter, and yeah, ma'am.
Yes. Here we can take the example for children who are not able to continue their education. Okay? Or people uh, who are not able to get good healthcare services due to financial problem, right? So these kind of जो सोशल वेलफेयर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस होते हैं वो उन्हीं को सबसे ज़्यादा प्रोवाइड करते हैं. जनरली नॉर्मल पीपल और मिडिल क्लास और अपर क्लास पीपल दे कैन गो टू प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल्स ऑल्सो. They can take health assistance from anywhere, but weaker people they cannot take. So these kind of welfare agencies, they provide services to them. The weakness and vulnerability of these sections may originate not from any personal fault of people, but from different type of physical, mental, social or moral handicap that they may encounter and which adversely affect them. Here you can take the example of there is a charitable organization, uh, Latika Rai Foundation in Dehradun. Latika Rai Foundation is the agency who provides services to mentally ill people, and not exactly we should not use this word, is differently able people, mentally also and physically also. There is a agency called Asha Kiran situated in Chandigarh. They provide n number of services to weaker people who cannot pursue their education, people who cannot pursue vocational training. So they provide just free of cost these services to them. The aim of social welfare is to protect and promote the interest of these sections to enable them to optimally realize whatever potentials, talents, ability they may have to carve out dignified place for themselves in society. Here we can take the example of self-help group. Self-help group is what? These are the groups made by few females working in particular place, and they just do things for their financial growth. Self-help group sometimes like we have heard, like in government school they provide school uniform and midday meal to them. Midday meal 100% provided by government. Their uniform 100% provided by government. But government officers or government working people who are working with the government cannot stitch or cannot sew the uniform. Then what they do? They outsource these kind of services. So few of them has given to self-help group. These kind of self-help group, they take the contract of uh, making uniform for the children or students of government schools. And next is social justice and social policy. What is social justice? Social justice is protection of right, or you can say it is um, removing any sort of inequality from the society. This is a generous concept which assures to every member of the society should have a fair deal in any part or any uh, phase of his or her life, like girl child education. Child, either a male or female, have equal right to get education. Gender equality in workstations, like generally we do not have more female workers in our workstations or offices or government offices or corporate world also. But if females are qualified, then they should have equal right to work and equal right to get employment. Justice has to be done at all cost and any cost. It is a hallmark of any civil society. You can say social justice is a terminology by which we can say everybody has equal right of education, medical health care, freedom to speech, equality in workstation. These are the rights. By the help of them, people are entitled to get people are entitled to get these rights and enjoy them. In, enjoy is not correct word. We can say here they have right to protect themselves from any sort of inequality. This is called social justice. Our next point is social policy. Social policy is what? Can anybody explain?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, tell
May
me.
I, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I believe that social policy, is the approach, or we can say, is a boundary yeah, under which government plans their schemes and decide their action plans, that how they are going to work. They have to keep some point in consideration when they are deciding any schemes. So, like they have to ensure inclusiveness. They have to ensure that the schemes that they are designing they reach to every person of the society. So I believe social policy is also involved that. It's not about completely what I'm saying, but it also talk about this aspect as well.
Okay. Basically, our social policy is a series of services in diverse field of nutrition like water supply, education, health, housing, employment. Social policies is taken as including those course of actions adopted by the government which relate to the social aspects of life and action which is deliberately designed and taken to improve the welfare of its citizen. सोशल पॉलिसीज का जो बेसिक सोर्स होता है ना वो हमारा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन होता है और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ एनी कंट्री इज द सोर्स ऑफ सोशल पॉलिसी ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर कंट्री under which specific laws promoting proper human and social development are enacted. Here we can take the example of healthcare system. Like everybody has equal right to get medical assistance or health assistance. Drinking water supply must है, नीड है, बेसिक नीड है. सोशल पॉलिसीज बनती हैं कैसे जो वाटर सप्लाई है वो प्रॉपर एक एक कोने तक पहुंचे इंडिया के. Here we can say these are the basic services or basic requirement fulfilled by the government and its rules and regulations also. It relates to people in general and concern itself with provision of social services which in their nature are direct and general. It aims at promoting human and social development. Anybody has any question to ask related to this social policy?
No, ma'am. Understood, ma'am.
No. Understood. Next point is, just a moment. Our next point is social work methods. Social work method means the way social worker is working. It can be a case work, group work, or community organization. Casework is what? Casework is what? Casework is working with an individual to find the solution of his problem. Like someone is facing some mental health issue, he or she is in depression, or any sort of he has any sort of trauma. then what social worker will do? He or she will talk to him on in one-to-one basis. This is called individual casework. Like now, he is working on one case. He is not working with the group. One person is social worker, and the second one is the person who is in need. They talk to each other. They have n number of there is a certain process of working in casework. Like first of all, social worker has to develop a rapport with him, that or with that particular needy person. He has to take him to the confidence and ask him what is the problem, why you are behaving like that, and slowly he can be able to solve his problem. Here we can take the example of counseling sessions for depression or counseling sessions for any person who is suffering from any sort of trauma. This is a simple example of casework. One teenager student who is not able to concentrate in his study, he is getting distracted from his study by n number of reasons. Then what the counselor will do? Counselor will talk to him and ask him what is the problem, what do you think. He or she starts with a very general questions. It is like introductory part, like what do you do, what do you like, what do you dislike, and then slowly he started talking about the problem and find solution to solve that particular problem. This is a simple example of case work. And as we move to group work and community organization, group work is a process which uses a small group interaction as a vehicle of social change, and community organization which stress change in larger group like organizational units. Both emphasizes the situational context of behavioral change. Group work, what is a group work? Here we can take the example of two or three people or more people working in educational sector. They start night classes for underprivileged children. This is group work. It cannot be done by a single person. Every day they go to that particular slum area or ask people or ask children together in a particular area and start giving them education, basic education. This is a simple example of group work. Now, as we move to social work education, here now we are talking about proper professional social work education or courses which are directly related to social work that you people are pursuing. The root of social work education can be traced to its international beginning in Britain and some countries in Europe towards the end of 19th century. From Europe, the profession spreads to United States, Africa, Asia, and South America. Basically, this is just a history of your social work education system जो आप अभी pursue कर रहे हैं, your bachelor of social work. इसका ओरिजिन जो था वो ब्रिटेन से स्टार्ट हुआ था एंड धीरे धीरे स्लोली started spreading to USA, Africa, Asia, and South America. There are n number of organizations which provide or give services in the field of social work. Here we can take the example of National Association of Social Worker. It provides supports and resources to social work practitioners, promote professional development, establish practice standards and code of ethics, and promotes the humanitarian deals and value of social work. Second example is Council of Social Work Education. Purpose of this particular CSW is to promote high quality social work education, which is achieved through the accreditation of programs, conferences, seminars, professional development activities, task force work, and educational programming. Our next point is, what is the current trends and practice in the field of social work? Here you can take the example of professional social worker. They are not working for charity. They are not working for any sort of shramdan or voluntary action. They totally focused for their career. Like people who are working with corporate social responsibility or CSR group of any MNC, they just work like the corporate people. They are not work for charity. They get salary, a very handsome salary. They draw a very handsome salary in the department of CSR. N number of career options are there for them, including research work, consulting work, counseling, therapy sessions, and teaching. They are advocating policy positions in government agencies and research institutes also. Second is legal regulations. We do not have that kind of practice in India that social worker should be licensed. Like जैसे हमारे यहाँ है ना मेडिकल प्रोफेशनल्स जो हैं डॉक्टर्स के पास लाइसेंस होता है प्रैक्टिस करने के लिए. अभी फिलहाल हमारे पास ऐसा कोई सिस्टम नहीं है, बट यूएसए एंड यूके में ये सिस्टम है. They restrict the practice of social work to qualified practitioner. The profession had followed the lead of older professions and advocated for passage of licensing law. Here we can, in India, we have licensing system for medical practitioners. N number of doctors are working in the field of social work. They provide their consultation, their services free of cost, but they are registered people. They are qualified medical practitioners. So in some field, we do have that kind of restrictions, but in general, social work system, we do not have. Privatization of social work practice. A growing number of social workers are now practicing in private fee-for-services setting. Here, we can take the example of therapist, counselor, physicians, lawyers, and people who are working for agencies also, like adult daycare center, senior citizen daycare centers. People who are working there, they are not working free of cost. They are getting salary for their services. Our next point is evolution of social work and social service tradition in India. It is a very, social work concept or social service concept is a very old concept. Very old concept in our Indian culture. Here we can take the example of our religions also. Like in Hindu, we go for दान. हम बोलते हैं ना संक्रांत के महीने में दान करना इज गुड. पूष के महीने में दान करना अच्छा होता है. हम कुछ ना कुछ भगवान के नाम पे दान दे देते हैं. चैरिटी होती है. Charity, here you can take the example of people donate money for education of poor people, poor children. They donate money for people who do not able to get proper healthcare services. In Muslim community, have you heard about zakat? Zakat is the thing. उनके यहाँ कहा जाता है, ऐसा माना जाता है कि हम जितना भी अर्न करते हैं, whatever we earn, particular part we should donate in the name of God or in the name of Allah. That is known as zakat. as I know, langar is what? Langar is free food services to needy people. All the Gurudwara, generally, you can go to any Gurudwara, they provide food to hungry people. That is called langar. So, these kind of social services and social work, it's a very old practice in our country. Now, as we move to Gandhian ideology and Sarvodaya movement, history and development on social work in India will not be complete without mentioning the contribution of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi conceptualized social welfare as Sarvodaya, meaning the well being of all in all phases of life. It means at the same time, he paid special emphasis on the welfare of lowest, humblest, underprivileged such as Harijan, women, destitute, and rural folk. His constructive program not only emphasized on the well-being of all, but also dealt with all aspects of individual, social, and national life. Can anybody explain what is Sarvodaya movement?
Yes, ma'am. May I?
Yeah, sure.
यस मैम मैम आई बिलीव दैट सर्वोदय मूवमेंट जो गांधी जी ने चलाया था तो उनकी एक विचारधारा थी कि समाज के सभी वर्गों के जो लोग हैं उन तक
हाँ।
लाभ पहुंचाया जाना चाहिए सभी चीज़ों का लाइक जिनके पास लैक ऑफ रिसोर्सेज है उनको रिसोर्सेज के साथ कनेक्ट किया जाए एंड उसके बाद मैम एक्चुअली मैंने थोड़ा सा अंत्योदय के बारे में भी पढ़ा था तो मतलब मैम दोनों
हाँ।
कहीं एक दूसरे के पूरक है मैम तो दोनों का पर्पज वही है कि लोगों तक जो भी हमारे गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज है या जितनी भी चीज़ें हैं वो सब पहुंचे और सोसाइटी में एक इंक्लूसिवनेस एस्टेब्लिश हो मैम आई बिलीव
Yes, correct. Underprivileged, such as Harijan. Any example of Harijan? कोई एग्जाम्पल है आप लोगों के पास उनकी प्रैक्टिस उनके वे ऑफ वर्किंग से रिलेटेड?
यस मैम बेसिकली मैम मैं गांव से बिलोंग करता हूँ एंड मुझे लगता है यहाँ पे मतलब जो हरिजन होते हैं जिन्हें कई बार चूढ़े या चमार भी बोल दिया जाता है जिनको बहुत निम्न स्तर का काम जो लोग करते हैं जैसे सफाई का काम हुआ वो मैम बहुत ही मतलब छोटे लेवल का काम करते हैं वैसे तो सोसाइटी में उनकी जो भूमिका है मैम वो रिप्लेसेबल है वो एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट काम कर रहे होते हैं लेकिन यूजुअली उनको मतलब एक बहुत ही लो एटीट्यूड के साथ देखा जाता है सो एंड मैम कई बार क्या होता है मतलब वही लोग इन इक्वालिटी को फेस भी करते हैं क्योंकि सोसाइटी में सभी लोग उनको उस एटीट्यूड से देखते हैं कि ये इक्वल है ही नहीं और ये डिजर्व भी नहीं करते चीज़ें जबकि मैम वो सोसाइटी में एक इम्पोर्टेंट रोल प्ले कर रहे होते हैं सस्टेनेबिलिटी इनेबल करने के लिए मैम
करेक्ट. As we move to social work education in India, the first training course for social work University Grant Commission UGC was organized by Social Science League in Bombay in 1920. The first professional institution that provided training for a career in social work was established in 1936 in Bombay. The genesis of social work education in India has its roots in the establishment of Sir Dorabji Tata Graduate School of Social Work. Nowadays, it is known as Tata Institute of Social Sciences. Very renowned and very good institute in the field of social science. Initially, they admitted mainly graduates, sometimes undergraduate people awarded diploma in social service administration after the course of 2 years. Like it was also a 2 years training, 2-year program, and after that they provided them diploma in social services administration. After that, so many universities and so many institutions, college, they started working in this field and established their own department, like Kashi Vidyapeeth, Banarsi, Gujarat Vidyapeeth, Ahmedabad were established in 1947, Delhi School of Social Science in 1948, Baroda University Department of Social Services, Social Work 1949 to 1950, Lucknow University is 1949, and Madras School of Social Work 1952. Here we can take the example of our Indira Gandhi National Open University also. It is a pioneer in distance education, has taken initiative in providing social work education. It aims to develop professional manpower capable of performing tasks and functions that ultimately achieve the goals the profession has set itself to seek and serve. In our Indira Gandhi National Open Universities, we have programs related to social work, like you people are pursuing Bachelor of Social Work. We do have Master of Social Work program, n number of diploma and certificate courses related to social work. They have their set rules and regulations to complete these programs. Like you have to submit your assignments, you have to do your field work, you have to do your internship, you have to fill your journal also. By the help of these things, you can get proper knowledge of social work education, like what exactly you should do, what kind of services you can provide in social work sector. Did you get that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Here,
ma'am. Getting it, ma'am.
here I have left only one topic, that is, I'm telling you, uh, social work education in Europe, USA and UK. जब आप अपना स्टडी मटेरियल देखोगे तो उसमें वो दिया है बिल्कुल जैसे हिस्ट्री में लिखा होता है ना कि मुगल काल में मुगल काल में क्या क्या डेवलपमेंट हुए थे, बस वैसे ही वो पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट्स वहां पे दिए हुए हैं, उसमें एज सच एक्सप्लेन करने का कुछ भी नहीं है. सो दैट इज द रीजन मैंने इसको ये जो 14 नंबर की स्लाइड में बहुत ब्रीफली लिख दिया था कि सोशल वर्क जो है उसकी इंटरनेशनल बिगनिंग ब्रिटेन से स्टार्ट हुई थी और धीरे धीरे वो यूरोप, यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स, अफ्रीका, एशिया एंड साउथ अमेरिका में फैला था. इसके डिटेल्स आपको आपके स्टडी मटेरियल में मिल जाएंगे. ओके
यस मैम, लेकिन एक चीज हम मिस करेंगे मैम, जिस तरीके से आप मैम टॉपिक एक्सप्लेन कर रही है एंड वो मैम हमारी मेमोरी में आता जा रहा है मैम, मतलब एक लर्निंग एनवायरनमेंट मैम यहाँ पे मीटिंग में बना हुआ है मैम. तो यस मैम, अगर आप थोड़ा बता देंगी मैम तो यस.
डेफिनेटली मैं टुमारो और डे आफ्टर टुमारो मैं उसको कवर कर लूंगी उसको, बिल्कुल जस्ट डोंट वरी, दैट आई विल डू. ठीक है
जी मैम.
एनी क्वेरी रिलेटेड टू टुडेज सेशन?
Ma'am, this is a past session, right?
या क्या कह रहे हैं आप?
मैम आपने मैम कुछ असाइनमेंट्स दिए थे.
नहीं, मैंने नहीं दिए थे असाइनमेंट्स. असाइनमेंट्स के लिए, जर्नल्स के लिए और अपने बाकी के जो भी आपकी क्वेरीज हैं रिलेटेड टू योर फील्ड वर्क, वो ना आप जहां से आपको मेल आई है आप वहां पे बात करेंगे.
ओके मैम. यस मैम.
मैम हेलो मैम.
हाँ, यस
मैम जैसे आपने अभी मैम प्रोफेशनल